me just say excitedly, the state of the exhibition business is strong. And you all heard me talk a couple of years ago, after we had that bad year in 2005, people were writing the epitaph of the motion picture business, saying that cinema was going the way of the dodo bird. And we said, no, it's not. This business is cyclical. In the short term, it's driven primarily by the quality of the movies. In the long term, we continue to grow. And people seem to miss that. 2006 was an up year in box office and admissions. 2007 was an up year in box office and admissions. So far in 2008, we had, first couple of months were strong. March got a little weak. April, only okay. But we're running neck and neck with 2007 on box office right now. Iron Man gave us a big boost to start the summer, and we have a fantastic slate for the rest of the summer. So I'm pretty confident that we'll do well this year, and that the long-term growth of the cinema business will continue. I love the critics who always say why we won't work. But people have home television sets, people have video recorders, TiVo, this new way to enjoy entertainment. Gee, they probably don't go to the cinema anymore. Well, that's garbage. Because the research is really clear that the more ways people have to watch movies in the home, the more often they go to the cinema. I know that may sound oxymoronic, but follow me. If you have 3 or 4 or more different forms of technology in the home for viewing video entertainment, you're likely to go to the cinema between 7 and 9 times a year, whereas the overall average is more like 5. So people who love movies are promiscuous, and they love them everywhere. And when the studios make product in a new form of technology, in a new ancillary market, we're all for it. Always have a couple of suggestions for our friends in distribution, as they do for us. They often make suggestions about how we run our theaters. So every once in a while, we get to suggest how they distribute their movies. And here's my one suggestion about how to distribute movies. You got a lot of really great movies, and you cram them all into a period between May 1st and August 15th. And you say, April doesn't count, and September and October don't count, and if it's a big movie, it's got to happen in the summer. Well, I don't know about you, but the kids in my area of the country are still in school the first week of May, just like they are in April. And April could work if we just had some big movies to put into April. Last year in April, we had the 3 of the weakest weeks of the entire year. And then in May, we had the 3 biggest movies. Or 3 of the 4 biggest movies, sorry. And I talked to the people who were responsible for Spider-Man, and Shrek, and Pirates, and asked them each, if you had put one of those movies in mid-April, would you have done better or worse? And they all said, probably between 50 and 100 million more. And I said, why didn't you put them in April? Nobody wants to be the first. Remember this history that we started off saying, summer starts June 1st. And then we creep back to Memorial Day, it might start here, and we creep back to the 1st of May. And it's still the case, we're not getting any really big movies in April when they can clean up. Now I gotta give kudos to Universal, because they did take a couple of their comedies and put them in April this year, thank goodness. Some of the other studios had some good mid-range products, so our April heated up a little bit those last couple of weeks compared to last year. But there are 12 months in the calendar. Give us movies 12 months out of the year. Enough about that one simple suggestion to our friends. I love the fact that the critics try to tell us what product will work. Last year they said we didn't have enough comedies, and we had a record box office year. And this year they say we have too many comedies. This summer we have 24 wide-release comedies. Last summer we had 22. I'm not sure why that's a big change. A lot of them are dynamite. And by the way, given what this country is confronting right now with wars and economic recessions, I like the fact that we have a lot of comedies coming. Give people a break and escape to the magic of the movies. That's what it's all about. So I'm really excited about this summer. And going forward, I have a lot of confidence in this business. Digital cinema gives us the possibility to do 3D exhibition in ways that have never been seen before. I assume, since you're all in business, you've seen 3D pictures. Amazing, amazing potential benefit for our customers, because it's all about improving the experience and selling more tickets. And I think 3D was the first part of digital cinema that really fired up exhibition to say, wow, this is a big, big deal. However, it's complicated to get there. It's like the studios and the exhibitors are engaged to be married. We haven't set a date yet, but one of us is pregnant, so we better get on it. I think it's Katzenberg that's pregnant. But this list of products coming out in 3D should be driving the train on timing, because there are 10 major films in 2009 in 3D. We have several important ones in 2008, but there are 10 of them in 2009. Okay? Jeffrey Katzenberg has committed all DreamWorks animation pictures to 3D, and Monsters vs. Aliens is his big picture scheduled for next March. Jim Cameron, you may have heard about this guy. He made that movie called Titanic, the biggest grosser in the history of the business. Has his next picture called Avatar, his next big picture. We're waiting for a long time to make his next big picture, waiting for this technology to develop. Avatar is scheduled for next December. Disney has 4 or 5 big pictures in the next 18 months. They're coming out in 3D. And we have to have a digital cinema platform to make all these 3D movies work. And we'll kiss and make up, and we'll get married, and then digital cinema will roll out much more rapidly. And by 2009, we'll be giving our patrons an experience they've never, ever had before. And we can all finally say that this digital cinema debate produced the results that we all want. Sometimes we get caught up in whether or not our jobs are important, okay? And every time I get a little bit too stressed about the issues confronting NATO, my wife will say to me, it's not heart surgery, after all. Kind of doesn't really work to calm me down, but I know she means well. But I want to leave you with the thought that what you do is extremely important by telling you a story. Will Smith told me this. He said that he had the privilege of going to South Africa and meeting Nelson Mandela, and that he was struck and intimidated. This is Will Smith. I can imagine he'd never be intimidated, but by meeting this man. And he told him, Mr. Mandela, you know, what you have done for race relations in the world and for the future of South Africa is just totally amazing. I'm just so honored to meet you. You're just an actor, and we just entertain people, and what you do has true historic significance. And Nelson Mandela turned to Will Smith and said, don't underestimate what you guys do. Because I was in captivity for over 20 years, and I watched a whole lot of movies to get me through my day. And one of the movies that I first watched was censored by the people who let me have movies inside prison. And that was In the Heat of the Night, an old American movie from the 60s. And he said, when I finally got the real copy of that movie, I realized that what happened in a movie released in America in 1968 is that a white guy slapped. I didn't even intend to have that timing. Is that a white guy slapped Sidney Poitier, or his character, and Sidney Poitier slapped him back. He said that one symbolic gesture meant more to me as a black man trying to lead this country than you can believe. So, remember, what you do has an impact, what you do is important for Americans, and we should all have fun doing it. Thank you.